Hello everyone, this is Angela Enriquez and this is Nursing 511. We are in week 2 and this is my presentation on Jean Watson, the theory of caring. I hope you enjoy. Jean Watson, born in the 1940s in West Virginia. She obtained her Bachelor's of Science in Nursing from the University of Colorado in 1964. She got her Master's in Psychiatric Mental Health Nursing in 1966. In 1973, she went on and got her PhD in Educational Psychology and Counseling. She currently holds a chair in Caring Science at the University of Colorado Health Science Center. Jean Watson, founder of the Center for Human Caring in Colorado, fellow of the American Academy of Nursing, former dean of nursing at the University of Health Science Center, and former president of the National League of Nursing. This is a very impressive resume. And I have to say that I met Jean Watson at a couple of her conferences that she held and a couple that she was guest speaker on. And this person came up with the caring theory, but truly embodies what the theory consists of. She is somebody that when she speaks to you and embodies your mind, body, and spirit. To speak to her and walk away, you feel as if you have gotten 100% of her attention, no matter what you were in the middle of doing. I also had the pleasure of meeting her on a couple ski slopes in Colorado, and again, she has the embodiment of mind, body, and spirit. It's just amazing to see her and listen to her and know that this is not just a theorist, but this is somebody that lives by what they wrote and what they theorized and what they truly believe in and they truly follow. The caring theory. The main focus is human caring, and that's something that we should do on a day-to-day basis. The term human caring, when we as healthcare professionals walk into a room, whether it be a hospital room, home health, it be the homeless person on the street, we should realize that they are human. They are not just a disease process, and yes, we are there to take care of that disease process and make sure that it gets better. And nobody knows that better than myself. I'm an emergency room nurse. But we must realize that they are a human. They have a mind, they have a body, they have a spirit, and they have all of that incorporated into that body that has the disease process. But we must focus on all of that in conjunction so that they can heal, and they can heal faster, and they can heal appropriately, and they can heal without anxiety. Founded the caring theory, it was first published in 1979. It was revised in 1985 and then again in 1988. The caring theory is a major guide for core nursing. And this is something that should not just be a major guide for core nursing, but also for core healthcare. We should use this human caring or the caring theory as doctors, nurses, CNAs, techs, housekeeping, whomever comes in contact with the patient should utilize the caring theory and realizing that that person is a human and that we are caring and nurturing mind, body, and spirit. Impact on nursing. Watson's use of the caring theory to treat clinically depressed women. Now, I chose this because Watson's theory has been used in multiple different aspects of clinical trials. And I wanted to narrow it down to just one to make it more simple and to show how the impact of the caring theory works. So Watson's use of the caring theory to treat clinically depressed women. Alternative treatments were used based on Watson's theory to treat mind, body, and soul. The results were compared to women who were treated with conventional measures. When comparing the two groups, the women treated alternatively fared the same, if not better, than those with conventional measures. All of these measures greatly impact both the academic and profession of nursing as a whole. So looking at this, where it says they fared the same, if not better, than those who had the conventional measures, even if it was just on the level of being a 50-50 level, we're looking at somebody that was, if they were clinically depressed and they went into the doctor's office and they were just handed a bottle of pills as a conventional measure, embodying their mind, body, and spirit had to have had a positive impact so that they could alleviate some of their anxieties and fears along the way. All of these measures, again, greatly impacted the academic and professional roles of nursing as a whole. It should have said, and it should have been, again, as I keep saying, healthcare as a whole. We should look at this as doctors. We should look at this as all the way down. We should embody the mind, the body, and the spirit as a whole. Teaching and theory. The Watson theory provides alternatives to the normal medical treatment generally seen in practice. Each alternative was based on the healing processes of the mind, body, and soul. Jean Watson steps out of the quote-unquote medical treatment and provides power of healing relationships and general caring. So basically, I walk into Mrs. Jones' room. Knock, knock, knock. Good morning, Mrs. Jones. How are you? My name is Angie. I'm going to be your nurse today. And I go on and I continue to ask Mrs. Jones how she's feeling. You know, is there anything bothering you? And just by that, I can find out, you know, is Mrs. Jones worried about things at home? Is Mrs. Jones worried about having her lights cut off? Is she worried about how she's going to pay for her medication to treat her disease process? All of these things take a big part and play a major factor in the healing process of that disease process. If a person can't pay for their medication when they go home, they're not going to get better. So if Mrs. Jones is in for DKA and she can't afford her insulin, she's going to be back again and we're going to be taking care of her, all because we didn't find out that she couldn't afford that medication. So a lot of our quote-unquote that we use frequent flyers, maybe we should delve in and find out what's really going on, mind, body, and spirit, and see if we can step in and change some of those things so that we can facilitate a better healing relationship. Human flourishing. Practice of loving kindness. This is just something that we should do every day when we walk into work. I know when I step out of my vehicle, I take a deep breath and I leave everything that happened at home. All of my worries, all of my anxieties, all of my stresses that might be going on at home, I leave them at that breath. And when I walk into work, no matter what's going on, no matter how chaotic the ER is, I practice loving kindness. When I walk into a room, I am there for that person, and I am showing them the most kind person that I can be. And I can encounter some nastiness, but you don't give that back. It is true, kill them with kindness, and that loving kindness should be there. Authentic presence. People know when you're not being real. When you walk in, hello, Miss Jones, how are you? My name is Angie, I'm being a nurse today, and I start typing on the computer. Mrs. Jones realizes I really don't care if I'm in that room or not. If I look at Mrs. Jones and I talk to her and I get all the information that I need and then I put it into the computer, I've given her an authentic presence. I've given her all of me. When you're in a room with a patient, you should be 100% present. You should not be thinking about things going on at home or things going on with your kids or anything else. 100% of you should be present with that patient at that present time. When you walk out of the room is when everything else can come back into your mind. But when you're in that room, you should be authentically there, present, and for them. Cultivation of one's own spiritual practice. This does not mean that you cannot be Catholic, Methodist, Buddhist. This just means that you need to be aware of your own spiritual practice so that you're not putting it on the patient and that you're not judging the patient for what they are. They may be atheist, they may be satanic, they may be Catholic, they may be Buddhist, they may, whatever religion they may be, we are going to support them. It doesn't mean you have to practice what they believe in. We're just going to support them and let them know that it is okay to have their beliefs. Not that it's a belief of your own, but it's okay to have their beliefs. It's okay to practice spiritually, and it's okay to believe that, because if they continue to believe spiritually, it's going to help them relieve the anxieties that they may have with their disease process that's going on. Being the caring, healing environment. That says it all in itself. The caring, healing environment. You must be the caring, healing environment. The caring, healing environment is not the oxygen on the wall. It's not the suction setup. It's not the code cart. It is the people that take care of the patients that are in the room going through the disease process, and the ones that we are either making better and they're going to be discharged, that they are not going to get better and they're going to go home and they're going to pass on, or that they're going to maybe lose a limb and not be at their baseline and have to really work to rehabilitate themselves to be a new person or a new being. Allowing miracles. Scientists, doctors like to beat this one, and some nurses too like to beat this one into the ground. When something happens that we cannot explain, like a tumor that was once there that has been treated over and over again, that all of a sudden disappears on the next PET scan or MRI, we can't explain it. We don't know why. For those people that have terrible medical conditions that all of a sudden wake up and they're better, or they've had a laying of hands in prayer and all of a sudden they're better. We have to allow for miracles. If science cannot explain it and there's no answers, let it be. Let it be a miracle and allow for that, and just scientifically don't beat it into the ground. Continual improvement of nursing care. Practicing of loving kindness and equality within context of caring and the conscience. Being authentically present and enabling and sustaining the deep belief system and subjective life world of self. Developing and sustaining and helping, trusting, authentic, caring relationships. And this is important to develop and sustain. Sustain is a big word, especially if you're going to be in a doctor's office. You want to sustain a helping, trusting, authentic, caring relationship with a patient that's coming back to see you over and over again. Being present. Just be present with your patient. Be present with them when you're in the room. As I said, when you walk into that room, leave everything outside of the door that doesn't belong in the room. Be one-on-one with your patient. When you walk out, your whole world can come back to you, but when you're in there, get the whole story. Delve into what's really going on, not what that disease process is. Get a deeper spirit of self and the one being cared for. So that deeper spirit of self, know yourself, know your own spirit. Again, don't project that on your patient, but realize that they may have their own spiritual self, and that's okay if they express that to you. That's what we're there for. Creative use of self, and always of knowing as part of the caring process to engage in artistry and of the caring healing process. Creative use of self. Use yourself as a tool. You are a tool between that patient and them getting well, them passing on, or them dealing with becoming a different self. So use yourself. Be creative. You as a nurse knows that when you're in the hospital or you're in your working environment, you don't always have the quote-unquote tools that you need, and we all become creative with what we have. But be creative with yourself, and always do that in a healing manner in your practice. Engage. Engaging in genuine teaching, learning experiences that attends to the unity of being and meaning, attempting to stay within others' frame of reference. That means don't project yourself. Stay within their mean of reference. Create always a healing environment at all levels, physical as well as non-physical, subtle environments of energy and consciousness whereby wholeness, beauty, comfort, dignity, peace are all potentiated, and that person can feel this and know this and be at peace when you're there and when you leave. Assisting with basic needs. Maslow's hierarchy is my favorite. Basic needs. Start from the bottom. Do this and make sure that they are taken care of. Again, mind, body, and spirit. Standards of practice. This theory uses current standards of practice that were cultivated from multiple evaluated theories. Watson's theory covers and can be delivered to all cultures and nationalities regardless of ethnic background. There are multiple studies, including the one in this slide presentation, that shows evidence-based education for select populations. Graduate level nurses. This is where we are. Watson's theory applies to all levels of nursing. The philosophies of this theory is to be kind to you and to your patient. Look at them as a whole. Put your own feelings aside and treat them. Being kind to yourself, being kind to your patient will ultimately result in a better relationship, a more trusting relationship, and will also build that mind, body, spirit process. Regardless of the evolution of nursing, this theory holds true to what nursing has evolved from. Going back to Florence Nightingale, do the right thing, the right time, for the right reason. Florence started out to care for people, and that's exactly what we should still be doing now, is caring kind for people, not just their disease and dying process. Applying to everyday practice. Be kind to all around you. Treat each patient as if you know them personally. Be 100% in every situation. Be mindful of your own beliefs, but do not let them impact your patient. Allow nature to be a part in medicine. And these are the references that I obtained to do this project. Again, I'm going to turn this around because I've had a hard time with my internet. Not quite sure if you can see me directly, but this is Angela Enriquez, and this is my Jean Watson's theory for Nursing 511, and I hope you'd enjoy. Thank you.